you for tuning in.
Hey, what's up, Hilo News family? Welcome back to another episode of Can We Talk, our show where we talk to dope people in the community doing dope things. And like always, today is no different. I'm really excited to have our next guest on. I've been hearing a lot of great things about her store and all the things that she's doing in the fashion and, change agent space. And she has a really cool concept for her designs in her store. So without further ado, I would love to welcome to the show Johanne Wilson. Hey, Wilson. Sorry about that. Johanne Wilson. I need to make sure I get the name out there.
Yes, it's Johanne. How are you? Good to see you. And thanks for having me today.
No, thank you so much. Like we were saying, offline, I had started, hearing about you. And ironically, I driven by your store a lot of times. And I was like, look, when somebody tells me about something like twice in a short period of time, there is something I need to jump on. And so I was like, hey, can you connect me with her? I would love to interview. And you jumped on and scheduled it right away. So I really appreciate you for taking time to share your story with us.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad platforms like this really matter, especially to small businesses and people trying to build. And so, yeah, thank you for doing this and highlighting all the businesses that you've had on this.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So let's jump right into it. Here on Hilo News, we're all about hyper local news. We're about Black and brown millennials and Black people in general in South Florida. So tell me about your journey. Where are you from and where did you grow up?
So I'm from Brooklyn, but I've lived down here in South Florida for almost my whole life. Again, I started in Brooklyn and then moved down here to live as an adult. Like when I was younger, I used to live in South Florida as well with my parents. But as an adult, I moved back down here about, it's been like 10 years now or more like 11. And so we're here. I met my husband, who is the co-founder of Cool Creative in Baltimore, Maryland, in art school. We're both artists, and we've been building and making art ever since.
That's awesome. I love a great Black love story. And you guys are creative, so there's that synergy. I always like to ask people, what neighborhood or what set they claim. Like where do you call home? Like what neighborhood do you live, shop, and play in?
Oh Lord, I'm not good at that. I'm Brooklyn. When it comes to neighborhoods, I'm like, I'll rep Brooklyn. But down
Brooklyn.
here, I don't know. I guess I'm from Miami in some sense, but I live in Hollywood, but I play in Miami.
Okay,
So,
we'll give you city of Miami, Miramar, Broward County, a little bit of a mix of in there. But people from New York, I don't care like how long you've lived anywhere else, you're gonna always be from New York. Like
we gonna be from New York. Listen, one thing we gonna be is from New York. So I'm from Brooklyn, right in near Park Slope, where that's Fort Greene area. So like by the Barclays, I lived like across the street from the Barclays Center.
I know that area. So my boyfriend is from Queens, so we go to New York a lot. And so
nice.
And he went to Brooklyn Tech. So he's taking me to like his school in that neighborhood. So I've been over by Fort Greene into the Barclays Center. So okay, I get the connection. So tell me about how you brought that New York swagger down here to Miami and created this amazing fashion brand shop. Well, not Shop Cool Creative, but Cool Creative Inc.
Yes.
Tell me about that story and how you got started.
Yeah, so as you know, every Caribbean family does the triangle, the pilgrimage, right?
What's your ethnicity? Like, what's your Caribbean background?
So I'm Haitian background. Nice. So the family's there, and then of course they do the New York, and then they figure it's too cold, and then they come down to Florida. So there we are. That's the whole journey. But we started Cool Creative about 12 years ago right here in Miami, and it started out as a design firm. And so we were working, my background is in brand design. So I've been working with huge companies ever since the beginning of my career, companies like Procter & Gamble, Lane Bryant, Under Armour, things like that. And so around 7 years ago, so that would be 5 years into the business, my husband, who's an illustrator, he's a master of fine art, and illustration was his major. And so he was drawing for our daughter these iconic figures, people like Malcolm X, MLK, Angela Davis. So he was doing these drawings to teach our daughter, who was 6 at the time, about these iconic people that have used their platform to for social justice and to speak out against injustice, and really that use their art and what they did in their industry to make a difference. And so, he people that inspired him, he drew them. I love the drawings so much. So then I put them on articles of clothing. Specifically, I had t-shirts, and from then, I put them on Instagram just to see if anybody would like them, and they did. And then I did another run, and it went really well. And then um, we introduced jackets into the collection, and that's when, like, celebrities started to gravitate towards it. And Fabulous was the first celebrity to wear our stuff, and from then that's when the whole thing blew up, and it became kind of more than we ever thought we could do with it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And as soon as I saw, like, I clicked on your site and your social media, and the main thing that hit me was how sleek and how beautiful and clean the designs were. And so that's just kudos to you and your husband's artistic background, and it definitely shines through. But I think what makes your brand, so significant to me, and what sets us apart is its mission behind it. Can you tell me, more about it? Because, when I looked it up, and it says, for change change agents and movers and shakers and people making a difference in the community and in their world around them. What made you guys say, let's have this at the heart and soul of what we do in our design, and taking it through that process?
I love that. I mean, and I'm glad that you're able to see that, and that's like front and center. One, I want to make it clear, because a lot of times people associate a mission-based brand with a nonprofit. We are very much a for-profit, and that's okay. It's like for-profit. Exactly. And but part of what our mission is to employ other people of color, be it our seamstress, our manufacturers, any suppliers, and even the close team, the team that works with us in sales and even social media content and all that. I think it's so important that we never forget that we have the power to employ people that normally or typically would not be people's first choice. But I'm like, yeah, our people are first choice. And so, that's something I'm very proud of, that we always employ designers and artists of color. But the thing that I love, I just love your question so much, because part of what makes being an artist so special is the ability for us to move people and help people see things differently. In other words, it's like to bring an idea to life. And we wanted to move people through streetwear, because we thought that in that particular category of fashion, and of course that streetwear category has kind of permeated into other categories within fashion, but we wanted to move people through the streetwear fashion, because we thought that it was a category that that just didn't seem like there was enough soul and passion and unique ideas, and everybody's using the same blanks and the same sweatpants and materials. And so we wanted to bring not only more better quality and better design in the category with different ideas, and I'll tell you a little bit about some of those ideas, but we also thought it was an opportunity for us to make some statements about justice. And so you'll see things like end racism, or we'll have like this justice hoodie, which, all of those kind of icons that are in that shield represent the brand. It represents justice. It represents excellence. That star and the crown is like our origins, being people of color, which is of royalty. And so it's really about bringing dignity and meaning to this category that's mostly consumed, and that comes from the culture. And so that's really what we wanted to do. We wanted to elevate the conversation in this area. And we do see some other brands, luxury brands that we've all heard of. They'll try to make a statement, but is it really rooted in experience and genuine, and is it genuine? And so we want to be that. And the other piece is that we're intentionally on the more high end side, because there are none. There's nobody in that, like, there's, besides like a fear of God, there's no representation in that luxury streetwear category, that where the brand means something and there's story, and then there's, we want to have higher production quality, and those things cost money. But we understand that our customer will pay more for something that is worth more, so it has value, not only intangibly but also tangibly. So that's something that's very intentional for us.
I love that. And as I'm looking at, the designs, I'm like, that is what I immediately saw. Like this jacket, like immediately screamed out to me, this emerald crop Letterman jacket. But the quality and luxury immediately screamed out to me. And there is no shade to anybody who, does anything else, but it felt good and it was refreshing to see a quality brand, because a lot of times, like you said, a lot of us are using vendors from China or India, and it's all of the same material, all of the same design. You're just putting your logo on it. And get it, I hustle, I buy that stuff too. But to have this, and for to have you guys stand in this lane, and to be pioneers in this lane, especially in South Florida, kudos to you. And another
Yeah,
thing that you mentioned that I wanted you to touch on to see if there were some parallels. What I love is there is intention and positive energy with your clothing, and I think that could be transformative from the consumer who's wearing it. And I think that stuff, with energy, I'm a little woo woo, but I'm like, if I put on something with good intention, that could affect my energy and my mood and how I
absolutely.
interact. Do other customers give you that feedback, and
They
was that your
do.
intention as well?
One of the greatest memories I have is that we were doing a pop up within Prism Art Show during Art Basel. Shout out to Prism. They're always killing it and
Yeah.
doing such an excellent job bringing and curating such amazing artists. And so we did a pop up there, and for several years. And I remember a woman just walking in, and it happened multiple times, but I specifically noticed it on when she did it. She walks in, and her face was like she was confused, and then she was like, and then she starts smiling, and it was just this gamut of emotions that she experienced when she walked into our shop. And I asked her, what was that, what were we seeing? And she was just like, I did. At first I wasn't really sure what I was looking at, but I liked it. And then I'm like, oh my gosh. And then it turned, and I was just so surprised and and so happy that there was something like this out there. And she was like, this is what I didn't know that I needed.
Mm.
And I love that because she got it. It's like, and we've always been those kind of people. I'd love to be everywhere, all over the world. That's the goal, but we're not yet. And I just feel like when people finally get it, they're like, where have you been, and why doesn't everybody know you guys? And I'm like, we're
Yes.
working on that. And I'd rather have steady and sustainable growth than to just grow and then no one ever hears from us again. And so one thing I
Mm.
love is that we've been growing sustainably and steadily. And when it's time to know, people gonna know.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's that staying power too. Like you're building it
Yeah.
brick by brick. It's not something that's fly by night. It's quality.
Exactly. So I just love when a customer gets it and they're just like, this is what I didn't know I needed. And I love that we get to play in this space where, I think it's important that we find our niches and find, carve a space out for ourselves so that everybody is not, jump on top of each other, and that we're all finding spaces for all of us. And so that's really, I'm happy that we're kind of creating a name for us in that sort of luxury fashion space. And really, we're never going to stop having that message of love. Create out of love is what cool stands for. So it's not just a cool name, but it means something. And for us, create out of love is not didn't just come out of our relationship. Because again, my husband and I started this
Yeah. Oh, that is
relationship.
levels to
But
it.
yeah, but it's like love. If you aren't doing it, if you aren't doing whatever it is that you're doing in love, then it lacks authenticity. It lacks passion, and you could see that. And love also translates to excellence for us. It's like if I'm doing this with love, then I'm gonna give my best and give excellence in every thread, and that's really what we're all about. And I recognize that we might have not started at that place of excellence, but every day we keep improving, and every collection gets better and better. And I think that we're finally in a place where it's like we can bang with with the best of them, and we are. And we were just in Nordstrom. We were already in Macy's and New York, Atlanta, and online. We're working on some other partnerships, and so I'm really happy with that growth. And the feedback that we're getting is that it's resonating with people, and I love it whenever I hear it's like there's nothing else like this. And that's exactly what we want to hear. And we want to make sure that that message of doing things in love is really what we're pushing. So, and when we do things in love, and when we live by that, then we can reach the unity, reconciliation, equality. There's this racial tension and division, especially in our state. My gosh.
Sure.
And it's like we need to be reminded that we don't, in order for us to rise above the opposition, we can't look like the opposition. We have to never forget who we are, and we have to always go beyond what they're presenting. And so we also want to be a reminder of that. So when we say love, justice, unity, it's like, despite all of that, we're not going to change who we are. We're always going to remain people of integrity and character, and that's how we overcome the opposition that's coming at us in all different areas of our social existence.
Man, you better preach, girl. This is but what you're saying is so true. And I really love that energy and all of the things that you guys stand for. For me, I wanted to know what has been the key thing that you would say, or maybe key things that has been a contributor to your success. And what advice would you give someone who wants to get into to your industry?
And to any industry, i
Hmm.
think um I think consistency is so key. And especially in this time where it's like, okay, everybody wants to get on, especially in this whole, social media realm where people are seeing people's hustles. And so they're like, oh, that looks good. I want to do that too. I'm trying to get in on that. And it's like, part of what that's doing is people are not creating and getting into things that they're really passionate about, or that they have expertise in other words, stay in your lane, right? And so I think that's the best thing. It's like everybody can add value when they're operating in excellence in their particular area. And so I'm like, stay in your lane and stay consistent, because I got 20 plus years in this.
Wow,
Like, I have
it's
proven
amazing.
history. You know what I'm saying? Like, can nobody come at me about like what I know. I know design. I know creative. I know art. I'm really good at my stuff. Let me tell you that. I'm confident about it, and I don't mean to sound cocky, but I'm really good because I work at it,
Hmm.
and I can offer and be confident in that, because it's something that I've studied, and I've never, even when I've had times where I wanted to give up, I'm like, y'all, this is just too hard. But then, you find you find whatever that is that sparked it in the first place, and you get back to your love, and you keep on going. So that's my big I guess the best thing I would say is to stay consistent, because you're not going to be able to master anything if you keep jumping from thing to thing.
Mhm.
I'm like, we could be jacks of all trade. I know that's a thing too, but I'm like, well, the problem is that if you're a jack of all trade, you're a master of none. And so come on, master something, because when you chase money, when you chase the opportunities, it runs. When you are an expert at something and you do things with excellence, money is magnetic to you. But opportunity just comes. And yes, doesn't mean you sit around and do nothing, but it's like when you are doing something, when you do it so well because you've done it for so long and you have consistency and proven experience behind it, then people start seeking you for what it is that you do because you're the best at it. So I'm like, I'd rather have people, like, I want money to chase me. And I'm like, man, I'm too busy right now and I have a choice as to whether or not I'm going to take on a project or not. That's where we need to get to, where we're all
Yes.
masters of what we do. And then that's when we could start collaborating and do even more
Part.
amazing things together.
Yes. Man, you speaking to me. You just preached and gave me some confirmation and motivation. I love it. Like that
Amen.
that and the key thing that you said was consistency. So I'm glad that you gave that message out there. And thank you for that. You and I spoke. You have some really cool things coming up for Black History Month. I want you to be able to share that and tell me about, what you guys do to support other businesses during that time.
Yeah, so we have the store. We opened up a physical store right in the middle of the pandemic. Who does that?
Really?
But but we had signed the lease before the pandemic and then shut down. Thank God we got some grants to cover the rent for all those months that we were shut down. But one of the things that we really wanted to use the space for, besides showcasing and having it as a showroom for our pieces, and also for people to come and shop as well. We wanted to create a space where other brands could have their first in-person shop experience, and
Mm,
even to help grow their brands. So at least once a month, we have an event, and it's like community wide, and people come and they shop our brand, they shop their brands, they set up in the store or around the store on the outside, so it's kind of like a block party vibe. We'll get a
nice.
DJ, we'll get food trucks and all that. And really the goal is so that everybody can get the support from the community, and everybody could get to know all of our brands, in that are women. Most of them are women owned, which is great. And then it's not just black owned, but just if you are really trying to get your project out there and get in front of consumers, sell product, or just get feedback, that's where we open up the platform for them to do that. And then we'll even have like little talks where we'll get on the mic and we'll interview some of the
Nice.
entrepreneurs, and kind of share their journey with everybody who's there. So it's always a really nice vibe for people to sort of support each other and celebrate each other and what they've all done. So that happens. So if you stay connected with us on our socials, which is Instagram, we're at Cool Creative, and also Shop Cool Creative. The difference between the two handles is that the Shop Cool Creative on Instagram is where you can actually shop the feed. So we usually put the information on both platforms, so you can follow both or choose one, and you'll get the information on when we do our events. And you can go on our website, which is shopcoolcreative.com, and you could sign up for our newsletters. So we let everybody know and we blast it everywhere when we're having an event. And obviously, those events are free to attend, but come ready to support local businesses. And we love it, and we know that you'll love it too, and you'll be able to discover new brands that are doing big things.
I love it. Collaboration over competition. And if a designer wanted to be a part of this event that you're having, what should they do?
They could DM us or they can email me at info@createoutoflove.com, and I'll get that message and we'll get you right into the rotation. We're also doing, like, there's one of the vendors who have participated before. They're launching a new line of shoes, and
Mm,
so they're going to be able to use the store. We're going to clear out a whole section of the store so that they can launch their brand in the store. So I love that we have a space to do that. When I was trying to promote our brand, I didn't have a space. So I was
That
like, you know what? I'm gonna provide a space for others to do what we couldn't.
Man, I love that. And you guys are doing, like you said, doing for others what you wish you had, and so they could run faster to get to their goals. Man, you guys are rock stars over there. I'm so glad that people said that we should connect because your story is so compelling, and your story and the way you tell it is so compelling. Like I'm sure a lot of people have gotten motivated listening to your interview today and just learning more about you. Before we go again, I just want to give you another chance to shout out your social media and anything else that you want people to know about Cool Creative.
Yes. So once again, you can follow us on Instagram. That's where we're mostly active at Cool Creative Inc. That's INC at the end. You can also follow us at Shop Cool Creative. Again, the difference is one you can shop on it directly, and then one is just kind of keeping up with everything that we're doing. Definitely head over to the website, which is shopcoolcreative.com. I would love to extend a 20% off discount for your listeners
Oh,
using the code HYLO20. So HYLO 20, and you'll be able to get your 20% off, and we'll do that for the whole month of Black History. And so definitely come on, support local business. We give back to our church. We give back to homeless. Well, we call them the homies because I don't,
I love
so
that.
our homies, we support them. We support nursing homes. We even support other entrepreneurs. Like we just invest capital into whatever they're doing. So you're putting you're investing in good soil.
Yes,
So
you
come
are.
on and support. Don't talk about ain't no black brands out there. We're out here. Where you at?
Yeah, you guys are doing it on a high level. Man, Johanne, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. Look, thank you so much for sending that Hollow News. Let's followers, let's go support them. Let's go, blow them up, follow them, shop with them. They have some really cool designs. So I'm definitely going to go back on your website and see what I want to get. But thank you for extending that High-Low 20 discount code to our listeners. I'll make sure I put that in our email newsletter when we blast out this interview to our followers and on our website. And please, now, Johanne, you are a friend of the show. Anytime you guys have news, your events are coming up, you have my direct contact info. Please, let us stay informed. Let us be a friend of your brand and, help extend your message to our audience and people in South Florida. I really appreciate you for taking time to speak with me today and sharing your story.
Thank you once again. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you. All right, y'all. This has been another great episode of Can We Talk? Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Peace.